Yes, hello everybody. I just want to show you quickly about retailers. Let's start that one. Retailers, what do we have? Um, on the stock market it's very difficult since we have the internet. So there's a lot of change with Amazon and eBay and Alibaba and so on. But let's look at retailers. Kroger, for example, is a food retailer, is a competitor of Walmart and Whole Foods. Here, the stock is doing very well. It's amazing. And look here at the long-term chart. I wrote recently an article about it, and it's just amazing what it goes on here. They take away a lot of market share from their competitors, and look at that chart. Look here, 1977, how it went up, and now how this thing is moving up. It went 3,300% up since 77, since going public. Kroger is looking to have a nice store, clean, very well sorted out the products in the shelves. And if you look at it, it's now at $52 the stock. They have a little bit of that 11 billion. That's quite a lot, but therefore the valuation is pretty cheap. It's 8 times EBITDA. That means a multiple of 8 based on the earnings before income, taxes, amortization and depreciation. It's 8 times, it's pretty low. And the price sales multiple is 0.25. That's very rare that you have such a low valuation based on sales. But of course you have to consider here, you have to take in account that you have here $11 billion in debt. But still, compare the valuation, the price sales multiple, and you have here competition of Costco has doubled that the multiple, or 0.5. So Costco is valued half a yearly revenue. The same with Target, half a revenue, price sales, and Walmart the same, 0.5 times revenue, yearly revenues. So that means they make, here's the market cap, they are pretty much so they means Walmart makes almost 500 billion in revenues, and Walmart suffers a lot because of more competition. You see, you have more competition, the growth goes down based on in their stores. So almost $500 billion is the revenue, and you see here that the growth is more difficult. The base is also large, so it's more difficult to grow on a high base, of course. Kroger, where do you see the slowing growth? Maybe better on a quarterly basis, not on a yearly. And you see here that that is an important quarter because Christmas is involved here in that quarter. But you see here 170 billion at Walmart, 150 billion in that quarter, and now 114. So you see a slightly down trend. The margins are also down, 6.8, 6.2, and now 6.2. So there's no the dynamic, the margins are under pressure, and the earnings are is not a straight line up. So the earnings 4 billion, 3.7, 4.4 is like goes up and down because the consumer, the typical Walmart consumer is not doing that well, especially in America, where half, I think, of their revenue comes from. And so you have this Kroger this Kroger client, they rather pay a few pennies more for a product, but have it cleaner. They have a faster checkout. They have some better organic choices, and that's the difference with Kroger. And what I said before, the valuation is not very much, 0.25 times revenue. The market cap is just 25 billion of Kroger, but they make 4 times of, no, they make 100 billion. 4 times of it. And you see here 2.7 operating income is more stable. It's not going down. The net earnings are going up. It doubled here, the earnings, more than doubled, 1.5 billion, 1.5 billion. And let's look at the cash flow, and there you see that Kroger is a machine. It generates $3.4 billion cash on a yearly basis, and it invests 2.3 billion, so there's always something left. And they increase the dividend, as you can see here. They pay 319 million in dividends. It's a yield around 2% dividend yield, and they buy back shares. They did here more, $1.1 billion worth of shares they bought back in that year, and the year before they bought 1.4 billion. So they reduced the share buyback because the stock went up, but I think the stock is still cheap. So if Kroger goes up, who suffers? One of those competitors is Whole Foods. It's pretty pricey, Whole Foods market. It's organic. A large part of their portfolio is organic, and the stock went down a lot. I still like it, but it is under pressure. It's not growing. There, look at here, it went down from $65 to below 40 because they had high expectations, the analysts, and they suffer from competition. Smaller competitors are coming. They went public, like Sprout Markets, and they take away market share. Or they give Whole Foods a tough time to when they open new stores, but still the stock went up 2,500%. And what I like, it's a great management team, and the founder doesn't take home any salary. He gets 0 salary, and I like that a lot. When you look here, the founder, John Mackey, 61 years, his pay is 0, and there are no stock options, and he just benefits through his stocks he owns, and I think that's a great thing. So I think Whole Foods suffered a lot. Maybe it's a good buy. I don't know, but I think the stock went down a lot, so maybe there's an opportunity. But here, what you see here is 1 times price sales. This is a multiple of one revenue is the market cap, and that's quite a lot. But they are debt free, and they can grow their stores, their store count, because they are like just having 388 stores in the US, Canada, and United Kingdom. That's not a lot. I think they can, if they keep on growing, they can double that number within, I don't know how long they need, maybe within 5 or 10 years. And let's look if some insiders are buying at Whole Foods because the stock went down or not. Yeah, there was one purchase. Let's see. Yeah, there's not a big, but here are some purchases. In June, somebody bought stocks for $37, 100,000 worth. John Elstrott. So maybe that's a good signal. Who knows? But so far so good. And then you have Best Buy. That's electronic. They are suffering because, especially of Amazon, Radio Shack is fighting for survival. They may file for bankruptcy. That's the wrong stock. Sorry, it's Best Buy. I made a mistake. Sorry, it's Best Buy. is this one. It's very difficult business because they have to compete the costs to run all these stores and much more staff compared with Amazon. They just ship it out and the customer orders online and it's very convenient. The problem with it, you cannot do that when you run, like you can't ship like Walmart or so, that's very difficult, or Kroger, to ship out like milk or eggs. They go bad. So because people are working, how do you want to ship it to your house or to work? So if somebody drops the box with your food, it is still very difficult. That's why I think there's not so much change with supermarkets, but there is a change with electronic retailers, with clothes, with shoes. You can buy them online, and that makes it very hard for the old-fashioned retailer. How do they compete with the online world? Best Buy shows you they went down a lot, they recovered a little bit, but it's a very difficult market. It's very difficult. It's not a supermarket where you have to get your fresh produce. And I don't know what will happen, but Radio Shack said they may file for bankruptcy. So you see here it went down a lot, and then it recovered. It more than doubled in the year 2003. It doubled, more than doubled, and then it went back down. So I don't know about it. Best Buy is a difficult call. I don't know what. I don't have a crystal ball, but what I see is it's getting difficult. The good thing is they don't have debt. Best Buy has no debt. They are very low valued at 5 times EBITDA. But the problem is, how do they grow their business long term? The margins are very low, but that's usually in the retail business. Radio Shack I mentioned that the supermarket business is not so much under pressure because of the online world, but it's more the JC survival. It was a very tough time. Bill Ackman was involved, but he sold those stocks. He was probably afraid. He had also a fight, I think, with board members over the restructuring. He hired the wrong person. They had a lot of changes in the management team, and George Soros went in, but I think he sold his stake again. JCPenney is a very difficult turnaround situation, but it looks like when you check the chart and when you read the news, it looks like maybe they make it. But look, the chart since '82, nothing really happened. If you take out all these up and downs, it's just flat. You wouldn't have made any money. And this is here you see they have a lot. Yeah, the shareholders, look who owns a lot: State Street, Vanguard, Tiger, like Lazar, but George Soros, I think, sold it. Look at the competitors. It's very cheaply valued, JCPenney's. It's very cheaply. And here you see Macy's, how strong they are, 21 billion. JCPenney's has a market cap of 3.4, but they have a little bit of that. And price to sales is 0.27. That looks like Kroger if you would compare it with a supermarket. And Macy's has a much higher multiple of 0.75 sales, and it's much more stable and it's more solid than JCPenney's. So overall, the internet will change a lot. There's a lot of competition. You have to offer your clients, the consumer, something special when they come and shop at your place, and the supermarkets will still have no trouble. That's what I think. Okay, that's all for today. Bye.